Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Wow, I feel like it was just yesterday that I was talking to Robyn Kass about Big Brother Canada. We didn't really know how the show was going to be, and here we are. I mean, what a finale. Probably the most shocking finale in reality TV history. And just a few months later, we're back, and I can't believe it's that time already. I know they're starting a little bit earlier this year, but it is time for the Big Brother 15 preview show. I'm very excited that Robyn is back here. I can't wait to get her thoughts on the new cast. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try and open up this cast so we can, so that when she gets here, I don't look like an amateur. Like, I have everything open, even though I know she can watch this, and I probably totally look like an amateur right now. I should have done this before. Okay, so I have the cast open now. 1 second, shows. Okay, so I have the cast, but okay, here we go. So Robyn is going to give us a little bit of a preview on each person. Why did they make the show? And stuff like that. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. I have my picks. I don't know if you've been watching our draft, but Liza, AJ, and Neil and I had a draft the other day, so I'll get her take on my team. So let's get her on. Robyn Kass, welcome to the Murtz Show. Okay.
Before you even start, I have to tell you, we were talking about how great the connection is. I hear you doubled up, like a really bad echo. You say one thing, and then I hear it again a few seconds later.
Are your earphones plugged in completely?
Oh my god! I mean, it's bad. Yeah, they're totally plugged in.
What?
I mean, I'm even hearing myself repeat again and again.
That makes no sense. Are you sure your earphones are plugged in? Oh wait, I know what it is. You have two windows open. You have two windows open. Close your other window.
That would make sense. Okay, thank God. Oh my God. Hello?
10, 9, 8, 7,
Oh,
6.
yes.
Okay. My earlier thoughts about me looking like the amateur, I now take that back.
It was me looking like the amateur.
No, I know. That's why I said it's you. It's not me. Okay. Robyn, real quick, before we get into Big Brother 15, give me your overall thoughts on Big Brother Canada. Did it play out the way that you thought it would, just in terms of the casting?
Oh, well, okay, I was going to say, did it play out the way I thought it would? I mean, nobody expected that ending. Casting, yeah, I mean, listen, every season of every show I've ever done, there's always surprises. I loved Big Brother Canada. I loved the cast. I loved the way it played out. Definitely some surprises. I mean, I was really proud of the show. I remember you and I talked at the beginning. I told you how much I loved the cast from the very beginning, and I mean, I stick by it. I feel like the response I got from the fans were really good. So I'm hoping that I'm not just delusional, and it really was a great show.
Was there anyone that surprised you when you put them on the show? Was there anyone that sort of exceeded your expectations? Was there anyone that didn't meet your? Well, you're not going to say if anyone didn't meet your expectations, so
Never.
yeah, just a positive, just a positive.
I mean, I'm looking over here. Sorry, because I have the pictures of the cast up there, so I'm just sort of looking. I feel like gosh, I mean, I don't know. I thought that they all played really aggressive. I thought that I loved that they all were fans and they had game plans. I liked that there was a lot of strategy talk. I mean, I never can guess who's going to align with who. So I don't know. I thought it was great. I'm sure there were tons of surprises, but I try not to predict those things from the beginning.
Now, we did talk after the show, and I remember you said you did have high hopes for Emmett, and I remember we disagreed on Emmett a lot because I was like, oh my God, Robyn, like, what were you thinking? This guy, he probably just plants hay all day. But I gotta tell you, that one you called right away because I did not expect that from Emmett at all. Emmett was the standout of the season to me.
And I have to tell you, as excited as I was about Emmett and the cast, even I didn't expect really what a mastermind he was and played. I mean, I loved watching him. I knew that Canada was going to fall in love with him. But even as much as I loved him, I was really pleasantly surprised with how aggressive he played.
And he wasn't cast as the mastermind, right? That was I remember you said that you thought it was going to be Peter and AJ. I remember that very distinctly.
Okay. I can't remember, but yeah.
Hey, okay, all right. We'll go back. I'll send you the link. Okay. But he was,
Okay.
but I guess my final question on this is that you didn't cast Emmett as the mastermind, right? That was a surprise to you.
I mean, listen, I cast everybody as game players. I cast people as characters. I cast people to have a great time in the show, to play the game. How hard they're going to play, I just never know. But I would never cast someone and say, like, I don't expect them to play the game at all, you know? So maybe during finals, he didn't have as much of a strategic game plan as someone like Peter or Alec or even AJ. But that doesn't mean my expectations were low and I didn't
Right,
think he was
right.
going to play the game.
Now, we're going to get into Big Brother 15 here. I guess the one question that I forgot to ask you from the last time that I sort of had like labeled in red here is how much of an influence does like, I'm sure you have sort of like the people, as soon as you see them, you're putting them on the show. Like this guy is going to be on Big Brother 15. How much does that influence the other people that you put on? Like you sort of have 3 or 4 people and then you cast around them like you want to give that guy a showmance or that guy a best friend, or is it not like that?
No, it's not like that at all because sometimes you love someone and then they come back again and they're not as strong, or
Mhm.
you love someone and then after you see 8 or 9 other people you realize that maybe they weren't as great as you thought they were. So everybody sort of changes through the mix. The more people you meet, I get more excited about some people and less excited about other people. So it's not like we have 2 or 3 favorites and we build the cast around them. It all happens at the same time. And
Right.
like you and I have talked in the past, just because they're my favorite doesn't mean they're the producer's favorite, doesn't mean they're the network's favorite. So there's a lot of cooks, there's a lot of opinions, and it's about balancing and making sure we can all get to a place where we all feel comfortable with give and take on everyone.
So it's not like, Jillian, I'm going to cast Emmett for Jillian or I'm going to cast AJ for Tala. It doesn't work like that.
Never. Because if that was the case, I mean, I could never predict those things ever.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. I want to start with a bullet, okay? I think you already know this from Twitter. I already have my favorite.
Okay.
Shouldn't surprise everyone. Erin, tell me about Erin. What is the deal with her? Everybody's talking about this one quote that she told Jeff in her interview where she's like, at the end of this, I want to be remembered as a Big Brother player.
Well, I think everybody should go in with that sort of mind frame. I mean, I've been doing the show since season 2, and there are still the same 6 players that people will always talk about. It doesn't matter if it's Dr. Will way back from season 2, or a different Rachel or Jesse, people who stand out in your mind, and Evil Dick and Danielle, Boogie, like those are all the people who will always come up. And it's like, yeah, you want to be somebody that people remember you
Hmm.
by.
Hmm.
I mean, when I say, and I've told this before, that the best players are the ones who will give you some kind of reaction, good or bad. I can say right now, Jesse, and anybody who's a Big Brother fan, when I say his name, they'll do one of 2 things. Oh, I hate that guy. Don't bring him back. Or I love him. He's so funny when
Right.
he comes on. Those are the best players. If I tell you a name of somebody else and they're like, what season was he?
Like Curtis
That
from Big Brother 1.
I remember him.
You do. You do. So you're the one.
Definitely. Random. And listen, I'm you know me. I'm never naming names, but it's like you want to evoke emotion, strong either way, good or bad. Be memorable. Be someone people want to talk about. Play the game hard. Go balls to the wall. I tell everybody the same things. Obviously I have to the same things before they go in the house. And that's like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Go full out. Always
Mhm.
remember you're playing a game. Make an impression. Be big. Be bold. Do stupid stuff. Make big moves. I try to get them amped up. Whether or not it sticks in their head, I mean, clearly it does with some people and doesn't with others.
Okay, so tell me about Erin. Let's talk about the hottest girl on the show.
Hottest to you. Wait till you see all of them. There's definitely some hotties on the show this
Okay,
year.
no, but Erin,
Now,
Erin,
I know
Erin.
you
That
like
all I want to talk about is Erin.
I know you like the petite blondes,
Yes,
right?
yes. So what's her
You know,
story? Tell me what stands out about her. Whatever you can.
See, somebody else just wrote, Caitlin is hottest. That's AJ. Hi,
I don't think that's
AJ.
our AJ though.
Okay. Oh, it's not that AJ. It's somebody else. Anyway.
No, because I know. Come on, it's AJ. Of course he'd be on camera.
I don't know. What stands out? I think that I do like players who people are going to underestimate, and I think that's her. She's young, she's cute, she is sweet, and I think that she's definitely going to play up those assets. I think behind the scenes and in the diary room, she's going to have a little bit more going on, which I think you and I agree is always a good player. When the viewers think that they're in on something special, I think that always makes a great player. So maybe she's going to play a little bit of the dumb card.
Yeah.
But I think in the diary room, we're going to find out that she has a little bit more going on than just a super cute package. And yes, she is a super cute package.
And do you think showmance for her or no?
I hope so. Maybe. I mean, she's cute. She's single, so we'll see.
All right. Now, one of the guys that stood out to me right away, like right from the bios, was Andy. You know, a little bit Reagan, a little bit Forrest Gump. I have really high hopes for this guy. I don't know what it is about him, but something stands out. Like I'm thinking, like just crazy mastermind. A little bit more about Andy.
I mean, I would like to think the same thing. I have really high hopes for him. I will tell you something fun about Andy. Andy is a great storyteller. I mean, he has stories for days, and he's one of those people, you and I have discussed it, that you like to listen to him telling a story. He's funny, he's quirky, he's super energetic,
Yeah.
he's interesting. You could tell he's smart when he talks. And he definitely is a student of the game. We talked a lot about the game. We talked a lot about players. We talked a lot about strategy. He's really likable. And I think that if he does anything evil, I have a feeling his likability will shine over anything else. So
Really?
I do think he could end up lasting long. He is super likable. He's really funny. I mean, he's sort of a guy you just kind of want to listen and chat with, and he's really smart. He's a professor. I don't know if he's going to tell the other house guests that he's a professor.
Why do people lie about that? It's so dumb. They do that every season. Oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, there's no point. Like, does it really make a difference? I really don't feel it does.
I mean, here's the thing. I think in some cases, no. I think the perfect example of a great lie is if we go back to Andrew on season 12, who was the podiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
He was a foot doctor and he was nervous. He didn't want to go in, have the other house guests think, you don't need the money, you don't need to be here, you're a rich doctor. So he came in and he said that he was a shoe salesman. He didn't want to be too far off. He wanted to still talk about the same thing in case someone said something about their feet. He can say that and he can pretend he knew it because of the shoes and this and that. Like, I thought it was sort of genius, and I got it because you want to give the money to a shoe salesman and maybe not a foot doctor. So
yeah, because Danielle did something like that, right? And she kept, I know she didn't say she was a nurse, but she kept like quoting like medical things. I can't remember what she said.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I'm not saying that everybody's lies are needed, but I do think sometimes, like a professor, it's not like he's a teacher's assistant. I mean, he's a professor, and people might think he's too smart. But you're right. People can get caught up in those moments. If he's having a conversation, he could be like, "Oh, once I was teaching and blah blah blah," and then be like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that."
No,
I think he's gonna be a good player.
Some people are saying that like if he gets put on the block, it'll be like a Marcellus, situation where if he gets put on the block once, which is very likely in a season where 3 people are going to be put on the block, he will break down. That it seems to be you're either like pro Andy, pro he's a mastermind, or you're in the category where he gets put on the block one time, it'll be like Marcellus 2.0. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think he'll be able to handle that?
I mean, I think he is. He's definitely somebody who admits that he's an emotional person. He cries, maybe not even other things definitely bring him to cry when he's overly happy or overly nervous. He says that he gets emotional, so I suppose we expect a little bit of it. I think he can handle it though. Whether or not he cries, I think he'll be able to handle it.
All right, let's move on now. Here's the question, Robyn. Alyssa. Now, I'm sure you have rolled with Rachel before. I'm pretty sure you've probably like met Alyssa because I know I have at a couple of finales. If did she go through the casting process normally? Did she get a sort of like, oh, Robyn, you should talk to my sister here, or how did that whole thing go down?
I didn't get one of those. She actually did. She applied, and I mean, I knew who she was, but I told her, like, you have to go through the application process like anybody else. We did the semifinal interviews. We pitched her with everybody else. She came to finals. She went through, she met the network. She did every single thing that everybody else. It was never a 100% you're on, you're in.
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
mm-hmm.
she still had to go through all the testing like everybody else. And maybe she didn't pass the testing. It's no one's ever a sure deal. You know,
Oh, she'll be back. Waiting for Robyn to reconnect. There you are. You're
did I
back.
lose you?
No, you're back. You're back. Okay.
What I was saying, like we had high hopes and we were excited about the possibility of having her on. That being said, if she sucked in her interviews, then she wouldn't be on the cast. That's the bottom line. She was really good. She's really fun. She's not Rachel. I don't want people to judge her. If you don't like Rachel, I don't want people to judge her as Rachel's sister. She is on. She happens to be Rachel's sister. She's not Rachel. I think that she should be an individual player, an individual person. You know, it's really upsetting when people are like, Robyn, you said it was going to be all new players. I'm like, it is all new players. It really is all new players. It's not fair to judge her because of Rachel. I think that it's something fun that we can tell viewers and stuff. They love Rachel. They hate Rachel. We'll see what happens. But Alyssa is not Rachel. She should be judged by herself, a good or bad player. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But it is 16 new players. Alyssa has never played the game and she is not the same person. And if anybody ever judged me as my sister, I would be furious.
Like, how much like Rachel is she? Obviously we've seen the laugh already, but to me, it's almost like I felt like she was just putting the laugh on just for attention. I genuinely don't think she laughs like that. It's more like her doing a Rachel impression. So, how much of that came into play? I know that she has kids and stuff. How different from Rachel is she?
I think she's very different from Rachel. I think physically they both have a very striking look, and I think that especially when they're together, you can tell they're sisters. That being said, her personality is very different from Rachel. She's not. I don't know if she's going to play the game as aggressive as Rachel. You're right. She's married. She's a mom, and I know she's gonna. We're probably going to see some emotional breakdowns. She's going to miss her family. She's very close with her son. And I don't think she's going to be, I think she's going to be emotional, but not in the same way as Rachel. You know, Rachel would lose a competition and lose it and cry and pout. I don't think we're going to see that from her. We might see more emotions, missing her family and her son. I think that's where her emotions are going
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
the best of her.
No, it's she's definitely going to be one to watch. Now, Howard seems to be a popular like pick for most people, like, and the thing is, when I say this, there's no like racial motivation behind it, but if as a student of reality television, minorities don't really do well on Big Brother. There's only been June who's won. So, does that come into play? Is Howard going to
Remember,
sort of
Danielle Reyes was
Danielle
second
Reyes?
place.
Okay, Danielle Reyes, a little bit of Marcellus for sure. There's exceptions to the rule, but
Yeah, Marcellus. Kevin was third place.
Kevin. Oh, look at. Okay, well, sorry, I'm not a casting. I'm just talking about like I can't quote these like you can. Okay, Sensei. But typically what I mean, right? Like, is Howard gonna break this mold?
I think so. I think he is very Howard's very intense. I think that we're going to see a lot of that. I think he's going to play very focused. I think he's going to play very smart. I don't think, and I don't know for sure, I don't think he's a guy who's going to be like jumping around and doing stupid stuff. And I think he is going to plan his moves. I think he's going to think about it. I think he's going to um, be very strategic. You know what? And the ethnic card. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't judge him against anybody else.
Mhm.
Any other ethnicity. I'm saying him as a game player. Clearly, he's very strong. He's in shape. He's smart, and he's very intense. So I do think that we're going to see him a lot and like wonder what's going on in his head. I don't think he's going to make rash, quick decisions. I think he's going to think before he speaks and makes big moves, which is smart.
Are you, let's say you were in the house and you see this guy who's like bigger than like almost any baseball player that I've interviewed, you know, like wouldn't he immediately be a target? Like if I was playing, that's the guy I'd want out first. Like if I'm Andy, that's who I'm targeting first.
Well, the interesting thing for especially for people who've been watching Big Brother for so long is that sometimes that build, that super strong, stocky type of person is not always the best player when it comes to physical
Mhm.
competition. So sometimes they have endurance things, sometimes they have balancing, those kind of things. It's usually the smaller, petite people who get further on those sort of
Yeah,
things. So, we're going to see. And listen, now really fit guys have to go in the game always thinking about that from day one. What if they think I'm a physical target? What am I
it's
going to do?
true.
Am I going to throw competitions? Am I going to play it up? I mean, I have a feeling Frank, probably was going to throw competitions, and then when he realized everyone was gunning for him, he
Exactly.
was like, win, win,
Exactly.
I have to win, I have to win, I have to win, I have to win. So I think that like any Big Brother player, you have to go in sort of with a strategy. It has to be very loose, and you have to be able to adapt to any situation.
Do you think he's going to be a fan favorite, Howard?
I think so. I feel like already people have been mentioning him and talking about him. Um, we'll see. I mean, this whole MVP twist is going to be really interesting to see what fans think.
And final question about Howard is to me he doesn't strike me as the type who's going to even be a candidate for a showman's. Do you see that? I don't really see him playing that type of game.
I mean, the showman thing is it literally is Murtz one thing that I just try so hard not to predict anymore because I've been wrong and I've been shocked so many times with people and outcomes. And I mean, listen, he's single, he's good looking. Sure. I mean, maybe. I'm sure that sometimes Big Brother love in the air can get the best of you.
You know, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, Robyn, with like Big Brother Canada season 2 coming up, but that's really the only reason I want to play.
Is what?
Is like the possibility of a showman's with like one of these like Aaron-esque like Jesse-esque girls, you know? I mean, if you want my real answer, yes. You know, I don't care about the money. You can make the money
You just want right. You just want a hot, cute blonde girl
just to
by
talk
your
to me.
side.
Just to even talk to me and I'm happy. Okay, moving on.
Wow.
Uh Now, Spencer, I love. Okay, I think Spencer is almost assured of going to the final six. I think nobody's going to see this guy as like a threat. I love his like take on the game too. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like if anyone can pull off floating in a season build not to be floating, it's him. But Peter brought up a good point when we discussed this the other day, and he said, well, the problem with Spencer is who's he going to click with? You know, Alyssa's going to go with Gina Marie. Aaron's probably going to go with Jesse. You know, Nick and David are probably going to get together. Who is Spencer's partner in the game? And I was like, man, no wonder Robyn likes you so much. So what is it about Spencer?
What's interesting was like your first thought, how you were like, there's something about this guy. Like, I think he's smart. I think your first impressions, remember, Big Brother has a lot to do with first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
There's something, and I agree with you, there's something about Spencer. He's tall, he's broad, he's interesting, he's really smart. He has a cool job that a lot of people haven't heard about and you kind of want to hear. He has kind of a cool accent, and I do think that people are going to be drawn to him. I think they're going to be drawn to him because I think he feels a little different from other players we've had in the past.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting. He's really smart. We have a lot of smart players this year, but I think that I think it's easy to go down that like Arkansas stereotype, and he might play that up a little bit, but he is anything but that stereotype. I mean, he really is grounded. He has a good life. He loves his friends and family. And he is truly playing this game to play the game, which is fabulous.
Is he loyal?
We'll see.
Okay, because I'm this guy. This guy is like alliance fodder immediately. You know, like I just feel like this guy will not turn on anyone. He has a very sort of, I'm not going to get into it too much, Robyn, because I don't want to bore you. But I have this theory that the best way to play Big Brother is to immediately align with the oldest player. The oldest player will never turn. Okay, Suzette never turns. Andrew never turns. So if I was in there, immediately I'd want to like hook up with Helen and Spencer. We might not win any competitions, but I don't have to worry about them statting me, you know? I guess my question is he sort of like is he a Tiny Tim or is he a Robin Hood? Is he going to be the one pulling the strings or is he going to be the muscle and the extra vote in somebody else's game?
I think he's going to be pulling the string.
Interesting. Okay, see, I didn't see that at all. All right, now, the player that has gotten the most attention, without question, you know who I'm going with next, is Nick. Now, this guy, you either love him or you hate him. You're either calling
100%.
him, yeah, you're gonna call him Dan Giesling, and you're gonna call him Peter Brown, or you're gonna call him like what was the name of that Keith? You're gonna call him Keith.
You know, and he was very polarizing during casting, and I think half of us loved him and were mesmerized by him. Half of us were completely turned off by him and wanted him to just be quiet. That guy can talk. And I think it'll be interesting to see if he's able to gauge that with the other players, when to turn it on and off, when to be funny and showy and in your face, and when to pull back when he's annoying people. I think that's going to be something that he's just going to have to work on and see. You know, I mean, if the girls think he's cute and flirty, I think he should definitely play that up. He's very charming. He has a lot of charisma. He's very funny when he talks. But also, like, sometimes you're like, whoa, just pull back just for a minute. I never saw him mellow out or be in a bad mood. He was always like bing, bang, boom, bam. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be an asset or if it's going to, kill him in the end.
Now, I have the same opinion as Grace here in the chat room. People are calling him a Brian from BB10, play too hard, too fast, and get the early boot. That's the sense that I get from him. Many disagree with that. They think that he's going to be like Dan, just pulling the strings. If you were betting,
he could go either way. I will tell you that he's a huge fan of Big Brother. Brian was a little bit newer fan of Big Brother. So I think, and I don't know for sure, I think Brian got in, and when he started playing, he was like, I got this game. Like, this is what's happening. Everything's falling in place for me. I don't think Nick will be as
gung-ho?
I just think he's going to be, I feel like he might be a little bit smarter than that. I don't think he's going to be as naive to the game.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is Brian is one of those people, even though he was out first, one of those people who is continuously brought up. People wondered what it would be like if he lasted past that first week. They all knew he would have been a really good player. And maybe if Brian had seen 5 or 6 seasons, he might have played it a little bit different. I do think that Nick's energy can get the best of him. That being said, he's watched every season since season 1. He knows the game. So I'm going to bet, if you were asking me which way, I'm going to bet that he's not going to be Brian. But I've been wrong many, many times before.
Was he cast in the shadow of Dan? Was this sort of like Big Brother 15 Dan? Was it sort of like hey, I had pretty good luck with that like Superman guy on the Canadian season last season. Let me try and find an American version of him.
No. I don't think he's Dan.
Cast completely on his own merit.
Completely. That's funny. I don't think he reminds me of Dan at all.
I don't either, but I mean, this was the question that people were asking me to ask you. A lot of people asked me to ask that to you. Like, I feel like a lot of these characters this season are very unique. Like Andy, for example, Spencer, for example, Howard, for example, are all like sort of new Robyn. Robyn's like, but I definitely do feel like you went back to the old Robyn wheelhouse with Nick.
Okay, we'll see. Listen, I am always surprised. I like to get new energy, fresh people, new characters, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Perfect. All right, let's move on. Now, One of the players that I was pretty upset that I didn't get, but that's because like Anil snapped her up right away, is Jessie. You know, Jessie, I think so many things here. Like I feel, and Alec loves her too, but I feel like showmance. I feel like she's certainly going to like ride the whole like unassuming thing. Now, in certain cases, young pretty girls go very early. I don't get that vibe from Jessie for some reason. You know, I feel like this girl's gonna slide. I feel like she could be somebody's Danielle. Yes, right there.
Um, okay, here's the thing. I I I I know the show hasn't started. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm going to say that you need to watch for Jessie. I think that she is going to be 100% a different player than anyone thinks she is, from her pictures and from the interviews you guys saw. I think she's going to be I think she's going to be an interesting player, who plays with her emotions. I think gosh, I'm curious to see how she plays out too. She is no girl next door. I will tell you that.
You know who I'm reminded of, like with this description that you're giving me, right? Because you sound like you're talking about Liza here again.
No, 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 no. She's not Liza. Um, you know what? I'm curious to hear, I want to talk to you next week, give me a call and see, especially after this. She's one I'm going to be curious to hear what your thoughts are,
Yeah,
after the first week.
but I certainly think that we are on the same page because unlike previous seasons, when I look at the cast, like this season, I can't really define how people are going to do, you know. And I do think that I'm pretty good at this, you know.
Yeah.
Like I called all the eliminate Cat and all them Danielle. I knew they'd go early, but for this some reason, this season I just can't get a read on some people. Spencer, Macray, Jesse. You know, like I feel like they're either going to be really good, they're going to be like amazing, or they're just going to go like that, wham, bam, bam. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think.
I agree. Listen,
eh,
I spend time with them and I'm still surprised at how they are in the house.
I'll put it to you this way, Robyn. I've never been more confident that it's not going to be guys this time. You know, it's the first time that I don't feel like we're going to have a brigade with like Nick and Howard and like David and stuff. I just don't think these guys are as savvy as the other people that are in there this time around.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have strong female personalities, who I don't think will be pushed around. Jesse being one of them.
All right, well, let's speak of another one then. What do you think about Caitlin? I believe she's a bartender, right? Caitlin the bartender.
Yeah, yeah. Caitlin's a hottie. She looks a little like Megan Fox. You guys will see. Watch. Wait, she's super hot. Um, Caitlin's a bit of a tomboy, in a very beautiful package. You'll see I mean, you can probably tell by her voice, she's kind of, I don't want to say awkward, but like she's a little bit more of a dude than
Yeah.
like sweet princess.
Mhm.
But I think that that plays well in this game. Sometimes that character can kind of get inside with like the guys and the alliance because they're more comfortable. And this is me just guessing. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
for sure.
Maybe all the guys hate her. I mean, I have no idea, but I just feel like her personality will mesh really well with the guys. She's kind of tough. She's athletic. She's really beautiful. She's fun to talk to. But she's a little tough, which I think is going to play well with the guys in the house.
And then, do you think that that also gives her an advantage? You know, being sort of like a guy's girl, you can still join a girls' alliance while still rolling with the guys, right? Is that the
Right.
prototype for
Exactly.
who you want to
Exactly.
be, like in the house?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what her angle is going to be. I know that she was still studying a lot during, finals and everything. I think that she had, a lot of ideas. I know that she was one of the players who, was definitely going in open minded, wanted to see how, I think that pretty girls are always tough. Pretty girls are catty. They don't always love each other. You can go in as a pretty girl saying, I want to align with the other girls, but then like the girls don't like you. You look better in
Totally.
your bikini. Like, so I think once she vibes out the other girls, I think she'll have a better game plan on the side she wants to be on and where her assets are.
Why do you think, just quickly, why do you think that girls' alliances never work on Big Brother? Because they have worked before on Survivor.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, besides Allison and June, which would be like the fabulous, I hate you, but let's align to the end. Because girls are catty, just in general. Allison Gardner always explains Big Brother as, high school times 10,000. It's very clicky. And in high school and in life, girls are catty. Pretty girls are jealous of other pretty
Yeah.
girls. And don't move in on my man or I'm going to get you. And girls are just like that. Guys are very much more go with the flow, which I think is easier to work with an alliance of Big Brother guys. It just happens that way.
All right, now rounding out the top of a lot of people's lists is Macray. This year, he's been described as like this season's Ian, the fan favorite, the unassuming pizza
Yeah.
boy, who needs this more than anyone else. I feel like when you were putting Big Brother 15 together, this guy must have been the first one cast. In my heart of hearts, that's what I feel.
I mean, we definitely loved Macray from the beginning. You cannot not love this guy. I mean, he is what he is. He's really funny when he talks. You'll notice he has really funny hand gestures and says random things. He's super likable. He's really just funny. He's just so real. He is that guy who is a pizza delivery boy. He loves his job. He loves meeting people when he delivers pizzas. He has funny tricks of what he does when he goes to people's houses, and like he is totally like salt of the earth, true blue, like all American, fun, rootable. Who knows? He is a super fan. He could end up stabbing people in the back left and right and surprising me, but I think that viewers will definitely be along on the ride with him for sure.
Do you think that he any kind of like competition threat? I feel like he's more of like the laid back, like funny guy that you keep around because he can't win anything. Could he surprise people in some competitions?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we don't have competitions and finals, so it's all just talk. I can ask people a million times how competitive they are, and every single person thinks they're the most competitive, and they can do every single competition better than anyone else. And then day one, they realize, oh, this is really hard. This is way more difficult than I thought. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna do good.
And the same question that I'm asking about a lot of these people: is he more of the string puller, or is he more of the lamb being led?
Wow. I don't know. I don't know.
He's a lamb. This
Um,
guy's got to be a lamb. Come on.
I think I mean, he is a super fan. And super fans surprise me. I
Right.
mean, Ian last year, although he was a follower, he did make some big
Oh,
moves
totally.
there in the middle,
Totally. No, and when
and
yeah, and
shocked all of us.
no, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. I'm just saying, it might even be by intent, to be perceived as a follower.
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll see.
we'll
We'll see how it
see.
plays out.
All right, Jeremy. Jeremy, aka the U.S. Tom.
US Tom.
This
That's so
guy has
funny.
Tom. He has Tom written all
Oh,
over him. Okay, don't even lie, Robyn.
funny.
And by the way, just real quick, in my opinion, and you know how much I love some of the people you've cast, Tom is my favorite person that you have ever cast. I say that all the time. I say that in every interview. I'm like, I don't know where you found this guy, but he is just brilliant casting. Anyway, okay, sorry, that was my little like Tom
Well,
tangent.
I think I told you, and I don't. But you didn't love him on the show, though, right?
No, I love him on the
You
show.
love
I
him
love him in real life because the thing is, like now, even hanging out with him, I know that that's who he is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where you found him.
right?
Like, I could interview 20 people, and I would not have been able to pick that out.
I mean, and I think, and I'll have to go back and look at our interview after Big Brother Canada and see what I said about him. But like, I always like those characters too. I like
Oh,
those characters who are a little overly aggressive. They give you good TV, give moments. They're big, they're bold, they're interesting to watch. And Tom is one of those people who, fans of Big Brother Canada, it's probably a little off-putting. You love him or you hate
oh,
him.
I love.
He's gonna get a reaction. I guarantee during casting of Big Brother Canada 2, a lot of people are going to say, a lot of stuff about Tom.
Yeah.
You remember him. He's big. He's bold. I don't know if Jeremy's completely Tom, but I understand that like Tom-ish vibe.
Yeah.
A little cocky, a little in your face, good looking. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays like Tom. He also has a little bit of a goofy side, which I think is really funny, which I'm not sure Tom totally had that.
Mhm.
I think Jeremy might be Tom with a little bit of a little bit more goofy.
Alrighty. Judd.
He's also huge, by the way.
Really?
He's like 6'6" or something like that. Yeah.
I know the way to get in Robyn's good books. It's like I know for like season 2 for Big Brother Canada, if people say like how can we impress Robyn, I'm gonna say just either look like an MMA fighter or just like quote Dana White as much as possible. So was it like
I
was it
just
this
took all my posters down.
Oh
I
really?
just took all my UFC posters down. That's so funny. Yeah.
I just know you like big guys. That goes without
I
saying.
mean, but that's like on a personal level. That has nothing to do with casting.
Okay, all right. So Judd. Is Ian's pick. Now, everybody knows we all respect Ian's opinion on this. And Alec likes him too. A lot of people are picking Judd. I'm thinking this guy's gone in the first 3 episodes max.
I hope not. Judd is hilarious. I mean, and consistently hilarious. And in every one of his interviews, like he was one who I was really excited always before his interviews because yeah, I see that Judd party darty. I mean, he would come in and just have so much fun. He loved the process. He loved being there, excited. He's a huge fan. He sort of laughs at himself when he talks, which I think is funny. His accent is so strong. They honestly might have to subtitle him. Half of the things he said, we were like, huh? What? I don't even know what that means. He is a complete character. He's really funny, but I love that he's a complete character who is a diehard fan. Like that is a really good mixture. Is not just a character and not just a super fan, but he happens to have the best of both worlds. And I hope he lasts because he's really entertaining, and I think we're gonna get some fun diary room from him.
You know, on a cast that I believe 13 out of the 16 are under 30, do you think that he is going to be able to like sort of insert himself with the younger guys? Because obviously that's always the issue for these like older players.
Is he an older player?
I mean, he's
yeah.
over 30.
I think he will. I know. I mean, I think he will. I think he'll be just fine. Yeah, I don't have any problem. I can't imagine someone. I mean, not entertained by this guy. And listen, they could be laughing with him or at him. He's still really fun, and I think he'll be fine either way.
Oh wait, okay, wait. Correction. I am being told that Judd is under 30. I did not know that.
Okay.
He does not look under 30. He does not look under 30. So
cards up there, I can't even see. I should know that.
I actually really want to know now. Now I gotta like. Can somebody look it up? I actually really want to know now. 26.
26.
26. No offense, Judd, but you do not look 26. More like 46.
Party darty, baby. Party darty.
Too much party dartying for that guy. Okay, Amanda. Thoughts on her? Is she easily like the villain this season? I think so.
She could be. I mean, she is like, I wouldn't want to get in a fight with that girl. I mean, she's really funny, and I definitely got along with her. I liked hanging out with her. But I mean, I have a feeling that you probably don't want to be on the other side of an argument with her. You know, I mean, she's tough. She's ballsy. She's in your face. She's bold. You know, those players, I don't know. I don't know who she's going to mesh with. I don't know if the other girls are going to like her or be put off by her. It'll be interesting to see how she plays, but she's smart, and she's interesting. She's a character. I mean, she is a character.
Do you feel like
very large boobs.
Do you feel like she's going to play the sex card, or is she not that type of player? Like, is she more of like a like the Black Widow, or is she more of like the flirty kind of like align with you and like do what the guy says? Like, what type of female player is she?
I think that actually she can be. I know that I'm always so careful at the beginning because you never know. I think that she definitely um understands her sexuality. She knows that she's curvy. She likes to use what she has. Um, that being said, she's not Liza. I don't think she's going to be like hooking up with a bunch of different people. Um, but I think that she will use her assets, whatever that might be, her brain, her looks,
Mhm,
whatever. Um, but I think she is she's kind of a question mark for me also
mhm.
in the
Yeah.
game. I'm not exactly sure who she'll align with, and which way that will go.
All right. Candace, I mean Monet, I mean Candace.
Really, Monet? Just
Dude,
because she's like light
everybody
skin and pretty? I don't
no,
think there's
everybody's
anything like
saying I
Monet.
just feel like she's the, I always pick on you for one, Robyn. Every year I pick on you
Okay,
for
okay,
one.
you're allowed to.
And like certainly I think that like I think Candace is probably my like designated like what were you thinking?
Okay. Um, I don't think she's anything like Monet.
Okay.
Just because she happens to maybe look a little. To me, Monet was like a mean girl. Her and Brittany would sit in the side and, talk about the other players. They were mean girls. I don't think Candace is like that. I think Candace is a lot more rootable. Candace has a fascinating backstory. She has a lot going on in her life. She lived through Hurricane Katrina. She found out she was adopted and she was 26. It's sort of a fascinating story, her family background. She was an NFL cheerleader. She has a lot of layers and a lot of interesting things, besides just like a pretty girl.
Mhm.
Um, I found her extremely likable, extremely rootable through the casting process. That being said, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the house? But I don't think she's Monet. I think she is more rootable than Monet.
This is a very sort of like and I know, okay, no pun intended. It's a very top heavy female cast, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of like strong female personalities, Gina Marie, who we'll get to, and then we've got Alyssa, Amanda. Don't you feel like Candace is just going to sort of be swept under the rug when compared to all these other bigger personalities? Or, in your opinion, does her personality, is it big enough to match these others?
We'll see. I mean, listen, you're right. She could completely be swept under. That being said, if I put, eight girls who were every single one of them in your face
Yeah,
and type A, you would be yelling at me for that. So there has to be some balance in the
yeah,
cast,
yeah.
and we'll see. Maybe the other people will gravitate towards her because she's not so in your face, or you're right, maybe they will stomp right over her from the beginning and we're just going to sort of have to see how it plays out. But she is an interesting girl and she has really, really fascinating stories about her life.
And now let's talk about Miss Politics here. The Hillary Clinton of this cast, Helen.
Yeah.
Uh,
Helen Helen was so much fun during casting. I know that she's going to tell a lot of her stories on the show, and so I don't want to talk a lot about them, but she might have been like the most excitable during casting. Like she was the number one probably rule follower, which I love, during like the secrecy of casting. And I think she does even talk about it in her interviews that when she came to Los Angeles, she lied to her husband. Her husband didn't even know that she was in the process because she was so nervous about being cut from the process, which,
mhm.
I mean, are you kidding? I love her so much for that. But she was somebody who like I would make rounds and go to people's rooms and she would open the door and she would greet me, and as soon as the door would close she'd be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and she'd jump and jump and jump and jump. I can't believe I'm here, I can't believe I'm here. Like she is very excitable and funny. And if her and Nick had a competition on who can talk more, I don't know who would win that
I like that.
competition.
I like
the
that.
girl the girl can talk.
I like that. I like that. Power player, like the cooking mom. Which one
I
is?
totally think power player. Um, I totally think she is going to be one of the more strategic players, guys and girls. I expect her to go far. Um, uh, she's really smart, obviously. She knows how to read people. I think that, and like you said, older players are more trusting. Do I think she should be trusted? I don't know. But do I think people will trust her? Probably, which is a huge asset.
And I do believe that she's going to have a major impact on the season. I mean, I'll get to like what I think is going to happen after we round up here, but remind me, I have to bring up Helen again. I'll put a star beside her name.
Okay,
Okay.
Helen.
Gina Marie. I guess
Huh?
I guess the only question here, Robyn, is she going to go in episode 1 or episode 2?
I don't know. I mean, you're right. Gina Marie, I'm not, you're right about her leaving early, but she is, you have a very good feeling of who she is from her interviews. I mean, she's a little obnoxious. She has a great accent. She's very Staten Island. She's very Italian. She is a character. And I like to cast people to be bold and in your face and be a little nutty, and I don't think she's going to be boring. So there you
Um,
have it.
I just can't wait for these inevitable viewing parties she's going to be hosting with JoJo.
She might be. She is a really sweet girl. I'll tell you that. She is, behind all the craziness and the wacky Italian in your face. She has a really good heart. I hope that it ends up coming out. I hope the viewers end up getting a taste of that, because um she's just I feel like she's a good person, and I really felt that during casting, outside of the interviews and stuff. If I would make rounds and go to the rooms and talk to them, she was always sort of like, she was one person who would ask me questions. I would go in, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? What are
Mhm.
you going to wear? And she would be like, can I offer you a cup of water, Robyn? You're in my room. Like, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, how are you doing? How are you feeling in the process? I thought that was really funny, because clearly during finals, it is not about me. It is completely about them. I am there to listen to them. And it's always interesting when people ask me questions, and I sort of enjoyed that about her, that I felt like she was concerned and she wanted to get to know me. And more than any other person, I think that she's, underneath it all, I think she has a really good heart.
And finally now, because I had the first pick in our draft, I picked Alyssa, but that also meant I had the last pick, okay? Which meant I had to be
Okay.
stuck with the person that nobody else wanted, and it's David. Now, I feel like David and Gina Marie are definitely gone early, for sure.
Okay.
What is the deal with
Okay.
this guy? Did you just put him in there so we could laugh for the premiere episode? Like he doesn't shower. He's like the antithesis of how to play a social game.
um, David is I wish I could show you his audition video, which is so funny. He sent in an audition video. He is what he is. He's gonna be this, probably the same way in the game, probably the same way in the diary room. He's funny to listen to. He's funny to have a conversation with. I mean, I remember in his interviews he'd say stuff, and I would be like, that, like, what did he just say? It's so, he's entertaining. Sometimes people like to keep, listen, sometimes people like to keep players like that around because they're fun to be around and maybe not a threat.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe he will go a little bit further. I don't know. He could have fooled me through the process, and and be more of a mastermind. He's definitely a fan, which is good. He knows the game. You'll see, like, he's definitely fit, in good shape. To be a lifeguard, training for a lifeguard is not easy. Not everybody can be a lifeguard. Not everybody swims in the ocean. And maybe he will surprise all of us and be the winner. Who knows?
I'm pretty much willing to like stake my reality reputation on him not winning, but we shall see. All right, now we've gone through the whole cast. Now I definitely think that some level of prediction can be made here. I mean, I realize that it's a new season, and let me just really quick get your thoughts on like the whole MVP thing and the 3 nominees. Do you think that that's really going to have an impact?
We'll see. I mean, I'm learning this stuff with you guys. I'm gonna watch how it plays out with you guys. I love interesting twists and turns. I, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I hope it has some sort of impact. That being said, I mean, it's new to all of us. It's new to the players. It's new to production. New to the network. Um, we'll see. I mean, it can definitely play for or against. I think no matter where you are in the house, if you're head of the household, if you're MVP, if you're one of the nominees, if you're voting, I think that it can help or hurt you in every one of those roles if you really think about it.
Let me just present like one like scenario since you're here is let's say there's an HOH. Let's say that HOH nominates 3 people. Let's say and we don't know what the MVP power is, okay? So I'm going to offer that disclaimer. No one knows what the MVP is going to do, but let's say the MVP has the power to like take off one of those nominations and then nominate somebody else. That means that the HOH is probably going to have like 4 enemies. And is this still a game? Like, like that's
I don't
3 enemies right off the bat. So like,
Yeah.
do you think that that's still like fair? Like, I'd never want to win HOH, and like on a season that's supposed to be about like eliminating floating, I would only want to float. That's all I'd want to do.
You know what, Murtz? You're watching it play out like with me. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have a feeling after a few weeks, it's up to the players to think about how they can use it as an asset.
Hmm.
At this moment right now, since we're not exactly sure
Yeah.
what the MVP does, we don't really know. We can play the what if game a million times. I'm sure as soon as it's announced and we get a really good feeling of how it all comes down, I think all of the fans and the players should really soak it in and think, how can I take this and work it to my advantage no matter what position I'm in?
All right, now we're just gonna take a couple of questions before we let Robyn go. Before we do, Robyn, my theory definitely is an all-girls alliance headed by Alyssa, and I feel like it's gonna be Alyssa and Gina Marie. I think that they're going to be sisters in crime, and I think that this is all gonna come down to Helen. Actually, that's why I put a star beside her name. I feel like Helen is gonna be the one that's gonna decide whether it's gonna be guys or whether it's gonna be the girls this time around.
Um, I, I mean, I have no idea. I can agree with you. I disagree. I have no idea what's about to happen. You put people in that house and you shake it up, and you just can't predict what's going to happen, how they're going to react. I mean, you just never know. And even the players, everybody who is listening to this and they're a fan, you included, everyone thinks, and I'm sure you've discussed this with AJ, everyone thinks this is what it's going to be like. This is how I'm going to play. This is how I'm going to react. This is how I'm going to keep my cool. This is when I'm going to make an alliance. It's like things change in that house, and there's no science way of figuring out how it's going to play out.
Now, I'm not going to ask you to make a prediction on who wins because I remember that from the last time, but instead I'll put it to you this way. How about this? Um, if I asked you who is the one player we should watch, and I think that's a fair question, who would you pick? One player to watch.
I mean, I like you. That's a horrible question for me. You can ask that to any other person but me. Who do I think you should watch? I think you should watch every single one of them.
I
I
knew
think
you
that
were
they're
going to
all
say.
interesting in their own individual ways.
All right,
Some
no,
of
it's
them
fine.
are going to be better players. Some of them are going to be more entertaining. Some of them are going to be more emotional. Some of them are going to be funnier. Some of them are going to be better in the diary room. Some of them are going to be better in competitions. Like that's sort of the beauty of Big Brother is that everybody has bits and pieces of things that I love, and that's what you hope makes a good cast.
All right, and now we're just going to take 2 questions before we let Robyn go. First one is from Alonzo. This season's casted relatively young, much like BB Can. Would you say casting is moving away from casting older people for the show?
No, I would not say that. I would say every season is individual and different, and that's how this cast ended up. Those are the people that were chosen. It had nothing to do with us getting together and saying we want a young cast, we want an older cast. The best people end up on the show.
And one more.
I don't know. Next year might be all older. Who knows?
In the casting process, did any of the new house guests have a set alliance name in mind?
Wow. Not that I remember. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not that I remember. I mean, a lot of them would think about like I want to align with a guy or a girl or 4 guys or 4 girls but I didn't hear any names in the casting process that I remember.
And one quick thing here. I know that like Nick has said that he wants to do this whole like 4 alliance and then have like, you know, one as a hanger. I don't think that's going to work. Okay? I don't want to keep hating on Nick, but we are in 2013. The 4+1 was like so 2009. That's the only thing I'm going to say about that. All right, I think that's it. Let me just make sure our Twitters are on here. Yes, all right. So, everyone, thanks for joining us. Robyn, my birthday is coming up, Murtzfest 2013, okay? Everybody knows what I want for my birthday, and everybody knows Robyn is the only one who can give it to me, okay? So stay tuned because on August 13th, I'm going to be tweeting Robyn all day.
Oh my gosh.
You might want to mark that date on your calendar. Yeah, August 13, Robyn Kass. August 13 is the day of reckoning.
Maybe I will follow you for one day.
No, that's horrible. That's even worse. You always have to like, we have such a great show and then you always kill it in the last 30 seconds.
What do you guys think? I'm waiting for someone to respond here. Follow for one day?
No, they're all going to say no. They're all going to say no. No, don't ask them. No, don't ask them. Okay, and what else do I have to say? All right, so it's going to be a great season. Season premiere is tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on CBS. If you're in Toronto, Liza and I are throwing the biggest reality event ever in Canada for the premiere tomorrow night. For details, bbparty2013@gmail.com. Robyn, thank you so much for joining me once again.
Text me during the show and stuff and let me know what your thoughts are, okay?
And Robyn, as soon as we finish this, I'm going to send you a quick message because last time I asked you and you were like dead on with the Emmett, so I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this call.
Ooh, okay.
All right, everyone, that's it. Thank you. That's Murtz Show out. Bye. Thanks, Robyn.
Bye, guys. Bye.